Welcome back, True Seeker. A lot of people have been asking if I can look into the album Dying to Live by Kodak Black. This album just released last Friday, December 14th, 2018. That album title, Dying to Live, it reminds me of the Notorious B.I.G. album, Ready to Die, which was followed up by his second album, Life After Death, where he's leaning up against a hearse. What I want to talk about in this video is this ongoing pattern in hip-hop. There's a code that's put on these rappers' names and album names. And talked about this many times over the years, from Tupac Shakur to Notorious B.I.G. to more recently XXXtentacion. If you've read my book, Letters and Numbers, I talk about this code. I call it the Jesus Code and why they put it on black rappers again and again. If you never heard this before, pay attention. This is very important knowledge, a secret to most people who speak English. Every letter in the English alphabet is a number, and every word has a numerical value. Kodak Black's album released December 14, 2018, a date with 64 numerology. Kodak Black in Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, sums to 64. And throughout history, this has been a fateful number. It's also the year of the Civil Rights Act, 1964. Civil rights also equals 64. The date of the release of the album, it was also a date with 44 numerology as well. Had 64 and 44 date numerology, plus December 14th leaves 17 days left in the calendar year. And in Gematria, the word kill has a numerical value of 44, as well as 17, as well as 64. And the way these numerical values work, they're all based on the alphabetic order. The dark green cipher is the alphabetic order. So K is 11. K is the 11th letter. You know, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, up to Z, the 26 letters, 26. When you count that way, K is 11, I is 9, L is 12, L is 12. 11 plus 9 plus 12 plus 12 is 44. This next cipher is just taking the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. So instead of K being 11, 11 in numerology is 1 plus 1 is 2. I still 9. L, instead of being 12, 12 is 1 plus 2 is 3. So K is 2, I is 9, L is 3, L is 3. 2 plus 9 plus 3 plus 3 is 17. This last cipher is just flipping the alphabetic order around. You make Z1, you count back to A is 26. And the formula for that is 27 minus the letter placement. You know, just imagine doing Z. 27 minus 26, Z's 1. Anyway, so 27 minus 11, what K is with the alphabetic order, is 16. 27 minus 9, what I is 18. 27 minus 12, what L is 15. So you get 16 plus 18 plus 15 plus 15, which equals 64. These are fateful numbers. They're coded all over the deaths of many famous people throughout history. And releasing an album on this date is fateful, especially when the name of the album is Living or Dying to Live, Dying to Live. We're going to talk more about that album name in just a moment. Adding insult to injury from Kodak Black's birthday, June 11th, and notice he was born in the year Notorious B.I.G. died, 97. Notorious equals 97 with the reverse alphabetic order. Death equals 97. So he's born in the year Notorious B.I.G. died. He died on March 9th. So Notorious B.I.G. was dead before this young man was born. But anyway, from his birthday to the release of this album was his 187th day of his age. And I don't even need to explain 187, do I? You know, there's enough songs about it. Homicide Code. It's also 6 months and 4 days. You see that? Just like how Kodak Black 64 released on a date with 64 numerology. At the end of this video, I need to remember to go back and measure from Notorious B.I.G.'s death to this man's birthday. I want to see how many days that was. You know, it's like Jay-Z was born on Fred Hampton's birthday. There's a ritual to that, as I've talked about in the past. Fred Hampton was the young Black Panther Party leader. I believe he was 21 when he was killed. Fred Hampton, murdered in Chicago by the FBI. At least so the story goes. 97% like this album, so they say. That's Google for you. Google does everything by this code. But check it out. His album named Dying to Live, 61, right? This number shows up all the time around these dead hip-hop stars. Jesus is 61, and what's the physical description of Jesus? You know, burnt brass skin, hair of wool, the description of a black man. Jesus 61, cross 61. Tupac had that 61 coded on him. You know, Tupac's last album recorded while he was alive was Machiavelli. He died before the release of the album, but that album cover was Tupac on the cross. And of course, Tupac did the I Ain't Mad at You music video where he's in heaven. He did the Smile video with Scarface where he's also on the cross. But there's something interesting about the name Machiavelli in light of Dying to Live. Machiavelli's 142, Dying to Live's 142, the word Christian's 142, the word Christian is also 61, coming back to the, you know, Tupac, cross, Jesus, Dying to Live theme, which we've talked about, and a number of hip-hop related stories. Just last year, there was this story of Kanye West, a statue emerging in Hollywood of him on the cross or posing like he's on the cross. This story came February 22nd, 2017. A date with 61 numerology. And Kanye West, he has some other nicknames like Yeezus 61. His latest nickname is Yondy 61. So they're coding this number all over Kanye West too. You know. But that date numerology, 61, when this cross showed up, it was February 22nd, 2017. And you might recall a lot of people were theorizing that maybe Kanye West was dead in this time because he didn't appear in the public for a long time. The day he reappeared for the first time in the public eye was March 15th, the date known as the Ides of March, which also has this Gematria 61. Here's something else that's really interesting. Kodak Black was supposedly released from prison or jail. He was in jail, not prison, on August 18th. That was the date he was released. Or maybe he was in prison, jail, one or the other. But he was released August 18th. And from the date of his release to the release of this album was 118 days later. And the reason that matters is because Tupac and a number of other people besides Tupac have died on dates with the numerology of 118. I called Prince's death before it happened, after Vanity died before the 58th Grammys, and it had a lot to do with this number. Prince's full name equals this. The cause of death for Vanity had 118 coded into it. Tupac died September 13th, 96, date with 118 numerology. There's also a date with 38 numerology, deaths also 38, so is rapper. There's certain numbers that show up again and again. Tupac, the day he died, September 13th, can be written 13/9. Notice Tupac Shakur is 139. Notice also the 158. It's just like Freemasonry. And what controls the world of entertainment is Freemasonry. And this code of letters and numbers is very much Masonic. So, death in Jewish Gematria is 118. That's why it's very curious that this album, Dying to Live, came out 118 days after his release from jail/prison. Notice the date he was released was also a date with 64 and 44 numerology, August 18th, 2018. And something to know about August 18th, that date can be written 18/8. 188. Add up dollar bill denominations. 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, 100. They sum to 188. The US dollar bill denominations with the Illuminati symbolism all over them. The Bavarian Illuminati was established May 1st, 1776, just before the American Revolution. Never seen my work on the Bavarian Illuminati? You want to know about it? Go back and look at the death of Kofi Annan at age 80 on August 18th. His full name, Kofi Ada Annan equals 80, plus a whole lot more. I got a video on it. But Bavarian Illuminati, a Masonic organization that absolutely works by this code. Masonry means the pursuit of light. Illuminati is in the light. Light is knowledge. This is knowledge, hidden to the masses. So Kodak Black, this album came out 118 days after his release. You see how it says, but not including? If you include, then it's a span of 119 days. I'm going to tell you what's up with 119 too. But first, I got to make this point about Kodak Black, which I forgot to make earlier. He has a cross tattooed on his forehead and on his cheek. Both cheeks, actually. He has 3 crosses on his face. You know, think about that in light of what we said. Dying to live, Jesus, cross, these ongoing rituals. The other thing he has is a Star of David on his necklace. Kodak Black tattoo, crosses, secrets, I'm telling them to you right now in Star of David chain explained. So, who controls the music recording industry? Masons, and who else? Zionist Jews, also known as false Jews. The description of the Hebrew/Jews in the Bible are people with black skin. The oldest living Jew in the Bible is Methuselah. There's a story about how he gives birth to an albino white child, which should clearly, paint who the true Hebrews, Jews are from the Bible. Anyway, with regard to it being a span of 119 days and the Star of David around his neck, notice the Gematria Star of David, Orthodox. Ashkenazi Jews equals 119 as well. Those are the false ones. All-seeing eye, 119. It's interesting that it says he pleaded guilty on April 17th, and he was released August 18th. Notice from April 17th, the date that can be written 17/4 to his release was 17 weeks and 4 days later. New World Order is 174, so is Number of the Beast. And the New World Order, again, is a Masonic Zionist world order. Across the globe, they use English to code their agenda. And commercial hip-hop music is absolutely part of their agenda. Destroying the black people of the world is part of their agenda across the world. Targeted disease and illness in Africa, destroying black communities all across the world. Commercial hip-hop music is part of this agenda. It teaches negative values. It teaches destructive values. Kodak Black's lyrics are destructive. It's not messages of uplift. It's messages where if you follow this man's lead, what he is saying, you're likely to end up in a cell with bars, becoming part of the modern slave trade, because that's what prison is. Now you work for no money. You're a caged animal. This is what commercial hip hop inspires young folks to do, especially those with burnt brass skin. Also, from April 17th to August 18th, that's 123 days. I call that the conspiracy number, the alphabetic order, conspiracies 1, 2, 3. Again, point out the 174 thing a second ago, New World Order, Number of the Beast. There's a whole lot more to that. These numbers are used in all sorts of rituals. So if you want to learn more about this code, be sure to read my book, follow this channel. You'll learn a whole lot more. This code's used for all sorts of things, and the patterns are very repetitive. If you missed my recent work on the death of Kim Porter, I told people to circle that date. There'd be some celebrity deaths the date Kim Porter died. It's also the day Nas put out latest work by the numbers. A longer video on that, but just to show you. Let's see. So Nas, he released the short film on November 15th, the 319th day of the year. Day his film came out. Look at his full name. Nasir bin Oludara Jones, 319. Puts out the short film on the 319th day of the year. Look at Nasir, 61. You recognize the numbers? You see why they got him carrying the cross? Notice Nasir is 61 and 74. Jesus, 74 and 61. Tupac, 61, 74. Machiavelli, 74. Cross, 74, 61. You see how it goes? Something to remember. Just using the alphabetic order. The dark green cipher on the left. Here, I'll get rid of all the other ciphers. If you type in English, 74. If you type in Gematria, 74. That's practice coding numbers into words. Type in Masonic, 74. If you type in Jewish, 74. If you type in occult, 74. Type in Jesus, 74, cross, 74, Messiah, 74, gospel, 74, parables, 74. Jesus spoke in parables. The story of Jesus is the gospel. If you pay attention, Jewish people who practice this code, they don't write God, G-O-D. They write it G-D. G's the seventh letter, D's the fourth. This entire code of letters and numbers is in tribute to God. In Hebrew, the word for God from the Old Testament is Elohim, which sums to 47. But in Hebrew, you read from right to left. So 47, the way we read that in English, is 74. Anyway, this is why Kodak Black's Dying to Live album released December 14th. And how many days, before Christmas is that? 21 days? Just like how he's 21 years old. Christmas. What do you think the Gematria of Christmas is? Got that value of 61. Like Christian. Like Jesus. Got Jesus is 74. Look at Jesus Christ, also 74. So you think about all these numbers here. But with regards to him being 21 years old and this being done too, Bible is 21. Special number. And there's just so much more to all of it. But rather than overwhelm you, we'll just leave it right there. If you want to learn more about this knowledge, you can pick up my book. It's nearly 800 pages long. And it's priced at just $5. Might as well be free. You'll have a master's degree in this knowledge if you read this book. It starts with why there's 26 letters in the English alphabet. And you definitely want to know why. You read that first chapter, you'll feel like you got more than your money's worth. And, I already know before long I'm going to be writing another book, and this man's death's going to be in there. It's a whole lot more, because when you sign up for this industry, you're essentially signing your life away. And oh yeah, I know what else I wanted to do real quick. I wanted to measure from Notorious B.I.G.'s death to his birthday, June 11th. So it was 94 days after, or a span of 95 days. And what that makes me think of, it makes me think of the Jesuits. You know how I just said Bible's 21, so is Jesuit. Those are the Masons within the Catholic Church. Lil Wayne's birthday is the Jesuit order's birthday. Everything about Lil Wayne by the numbers. But the Jesuit order's birthday leaves 95 days left in the year. And that's another number that is related to Jesus. So the 3 months and 3 days also stands out in a big way. 33. Another big number related to Jesus. Jesus crucified at age 33. They had Kanye West on the cross. Kanye West, 33. That statue was in Hollywood, 33. So let me see something else about June 11th real quick. In a leap year, it's the 163rd day of the year, which is the 38th prime. Rapper's got that Gematria 38. Rapper also has that Gematria 74 like Jesus, like cross, just using the alphabetic order. All right, that's enough for now, Truth Seeker. Till next time.